I rise today at the direction of the House Democratic Caucus to place into nomination for election to the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, the pride of Brooklyn, Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Today, Madam Clerk, House Democrats are united. United by a Speaker who will put people over politics.
In contrast to the embarrassing chaos on the Republican side of the aisle, Democrats displayed a united front today, nominating Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker. In his nominating speech, Congressman Aguilar made a pointed note that Jeffries wasn't beholden to extremists, unlike the Republican Party, held hostage by the right since the Tea Party during the Obama years, then morphing into the MAGA crowd and now in its current incarnation as the party of insurrectionists. Now, it's not that the Democratic Party hasn't had its own pushback from the left. In 2018, the Squad changed politics in Washington and forced the Democrats to actually hear its base. And with this new Congress, the progressive wing's numbers are growing. I'm joined now by one of the OG members of the Squad, Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, who I will note was wearing the flyest outfit in the gallery today. I caught you on the feed and was like, hold on a second, that necklace, fabulous. So I do have to ask you what the vibe was like on the Democratic side. I'm so curious because it was this wonderful sort of, picture of multiculturalism, multiracialism. You have a leadership team that's got a woman, two black men, a Latino. What was the vibe like on the Democratic side?
Joyful. And just really clear on the historic nature of the day. And I would also say we're also not only happy, but also proud that we have a Democratic leadership team that is reflective and representative of the people who call this country home.
You know what? I was just speaking with Michael Beschloss, we call him our in-house historian here, and we were talking about these previous Congresses where you had all these narrow majorities, and the fact that afterwards they could work together. But in those Congresses, it was all white guys. It was all older white guys. They were all demographically identical, and so they could find commonalities no matter what their party. In this situation that is coming up in the 118th Congress, not only is the Democratic Party completely different in terms of being diverse and the Republican Party different in terms of being extreme, there are still things that need to get done. There were still things that you all wanted to do, the progressive wing wanted to do. I'm going to put a few of them up. They still need to get done. Police reform, immigration rights, voting rights, child tax credit, paid family leave, increased minimum wage, universal pre-K, Social Security expansion. Even under the great Nancy Pelosi, who is going to go down as one of the greatest speakers in history, those things could not get done. You now have Hakeem Jeffries as a different type of guy, different type of person, but also dealing with a different type of crazy on the other side. What do you anticipate this looking like in the 118th Congress?
Well, Joy, the thing is, what the display that we saw today by the Republicans is clear that not only do they have contempt for the American people, and they are ill-prepared to govern, and McCarthy is unfit to be Speaker. They have proven that they are the party that is anti-worker, anti-immigrant, anti-woman, anti-democracy, and in my opinion, anti-American. While on the other side, the Democrats, we have proven time and time again, as we have stood in the gap, to alleviate hardship, to mitigate harm, to advance progress during these very consequential times, that what we do is for the people. And that is exactly why we have a Democratic leadership that is representative of the people, because we're very clear about who we work for. And we have compassion for the American people, not contempt. And so I'm optimistic. As a proud progressive, we don't just mobilize and engage for an election cycle. We're doing the work of movement building year round. And that is essential to advancing progress and advancing progressive politics, policies, which, by the way, are very popular. Policies like paid leave and canceling student debt, to name a few. So it requires movement building, and we want to make sure that we are well poised to take that gavel back in 2 years and for the House to be in the majority as we gear up for 2024. So we have two years to make the affirmative case for Democrats. And I'll bet on us every time.
And I think the other side is going to try to help you because they seem to be trying to be as sort of wild as possible and unelectable as possible. But I do have to ask you this. You know, we've talked a lot with you on this show just about the experience of the insurrection and how terrifying it was for you, for your family, for your staff. The fact that the people who are making the decision of who's going to be speaker, holding Kevin McCarthy hostage, and in some cases being nominated for speaker, people like Jim Jordan, I just wonder how that lands with you, that insurrectionists are the opposition on the other side to the whatever it is you call Kevin McCarthy, and that they seem to be winning.
Well, it doesn't land well. But it doesn't have me living in fear for myself. It has me living in fear for the state of our democracy and for the American people. What January 6th proved to us when a white supremacist mob seized the Capitol to interrupt the peaceful transition of power is that white supremacy is a threat to everyone who calls this country home and to our democracy. And in fact, we see across the aisle with the insurrectionists that are still serving here in Congress. It is anti-democratic. It is a threat to everyone. And they do not care about democracy or the American people. And so the Democrats have 2 years to make the affirmative case that we do care about democracy, that we do care about the people. And so we'll continue to fight the good fight. I'm very proud to be serving in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, having just elected historic governors, lieutenant governors, attorney generals, all women. And also to be serving with a historic mayor. So I'm going to be exhaustive in using and leveraging every tool available to me, including my state house and my city hall, to make sure that I'm advocating on behalf of the people. And then when it comes to Washington, let us not lose sight that we do still have the White House. And I've worked very closely with the Biden-Harris administration in partnership on things like repealing Title 42, canceling student debt, a moratorium on the federal death penalty. And so that work will continue, that we, push for an executive action agenda.
Well, the two parties could not be more different in the Senate, but especially in the House. It just couldn't be more different. It's amazing. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, I mean, wow. Thank you so much. They don't have any
necklaces like that, Joy.
They sure don't. And you know what? If they had them, they'd have wore them wrong because they just would wear them wrong just to do it wrong. Thank you very much, Congresswoman. Happy New Year.
Great day. Thank you, Joy.